and welcome to this series of trauma-informed yoga videos. I want to be clear that while this is trauma-informed and my training is also in trauma-informed yoga, this practice is not only for people who suffer from PTSD, CPTSD. This is for people like a lot of us who struggle with connection with our bodies, who have a dissociated state between our minds and our bodies, where we feel our bodies have betrayed us, where we are struggling with intuition. So this trauma-informed yoga practice is very holistic. Trauma is a very marketable word. So the name trauma-informed yoga is helpful in some ways, but it's a bit hindering in others, because I have seen how valuable this is for many different people with different kinds of issues. I want to just encourage you to notice that I'm not wearing yoga clothes. I do not have a mat. I'm not sitting in a traditional yoga setting. And that's because for this practice, you do not need to be doing that. I would encourage you to just practice in like what it is you're wearing, please. Like just getting into your yoga clothes is such a mission, and it often stops us from practicing. So I would encourage you to practice in your work clothes. Practice outside. Don't use a mat. You don't need a mat. You don't need lycra. You don't need any of that. I don't think most people need that for yoga in any case, but in this instance you really do not need it. I have also chosen to practice outside and to sort of indicate that you really can do this practice anywhere. You don't need there's no equipment, there's nothing. It is really just you. One of the precepts, the main purposes of practicing in this way is that we are allowing our minds to meet our bodies. So we are allowing ourselves really to meet our bodies. And for many of us, there's been a disconnect there. And there needs to be a safe place, a safe place like this, where we can find something that connects the mind and body, that they can sort of do this dance with and find connection, so we can work toward a much more holistic version of self. During that process, we learn what we like, what we don't like. We learn how to make choices with our bodies. We learn how to make effective choices with our bodies, like moving away from dangerous things, or even being assertive with our mouths. These are all things that come from having a connection with our body. Our bodies are such vast reservoirs of intuition. So right now, if I'm sitting cognitively unconnected with my body, I have the intuition of my mind, which is wonderful, but that's all I have. My body is picking up signals, and has been since I was born, about people, about things, about situations, about relationships, about whatever, that do not consciously enter our minds. They don't say that's a dangerous person or whatever. Our bodies learn this information and they hold it. And that's why sometimes we'll walk out of something here that didn't feel safe. I needed to leave. I don't know why. Or I just had an intuition that I had to, because it doesn't come through a cognitive channel. So it's really important for us to establish this connection with our body, because it's so rich and full of information, and allows us to have such a holistic and beautiful intuitive sense. So for me, that's one of the primary reasons I practice like this. And I think that some of the other reasons other people might have definitely benefited, and this is part of the evidence-based aspect of this practice, is that you are able, you learn to be able to make effective choices with your body. Whereas before, when you're disconnected from your body, it's pretty much impossible to make an effective choice with your body, because the relationship between you and your body it's not friends. You know, there's been a betrayal. It's not going to happen. So this like, I can sort of also explain it sometimes like when we start this practice, it's like a little stray animal, and we're trying to kind of like coax it out, and we have to be so patient. That's why you'll find this practice quite slow for some of you. You have to really be patient and just sit there and wait, and put food out and wait. The moment you run off, it's like you're done for. So that's why we don't push in this practice. We don't push into discomfort. We don't go harder and faster. That doesn't work. We're trying to recalibrate a relationship here. Another aspect of this practice is learning rhythms, and learning rhythms is something many of us do when we go into nature, and we've already got a very good practice in terms of learning and feeling rhythms, but not necessarily rhythms and learning and feeling rhythms within our own bodies. And that can go for like biological rhythms, but it can also explain, so for example, a lot of us who have mood swings, and they come out of nowhere, and it's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And understanding and really knowing through our body what our natural rhythms are and how we can work with them. So this is just an introduction as to why we would even do this practice, and you're welcome to take each video. You do not have to start at any place. You can just, you can go from the beginning to the end, and you can skip anything that feels uncomfortable.